Hello, everybody. This is Debo with Debo's Film Reviews, and I'm going to review Paul, starring Seth Rogen as the titular Paul, along with Simon Pegg, Nick Frost, Kristen Wiig, Jason Bateman, Sigourney Weaver, featuring John Carroll Lynch, Jane Lynch. I'm not sure if they're related or not. Bill Hader, and Jesse Plemons and David Koechner. All I gotta say about this film is that's E.T. for adults, basically, because both are aliens, both are wanted by the government, both have healing powers, and can form attachments to human friends, like how E.T. and Elliot did, and so does Paul does with Pegg and Frost. I gotta say, Pegg and Frost, when it comes to they're the Abbott and Costello of British comedy, because whenever those two did a team up film, you know it's gonna be hilarious, and lit, and woof. And pretty much one that's not part of the Cornetto trilogy. Not sure how those are films are over in sponsor those are really canon and all, and how those count as a trilogy. But hey, you can't say those are bad movies. And of course, with back to Paul, where you got, which is like I just mentioned, was E.T. for adults, and we'll talk about how funny and perfect Seth Rogen was as the titular Paul. I mean, especially at the beginning when he's going, probing. Why? What do you think I do? Harvest Sparks? I mean, it's always, every time I meet a human, it's always about the probing. After that encounter when he wrecked the government back fronted, or should I say government backed, or should I say government car? Sorry, government issued Crown Vic. You know, with Pegg and Frost's characters going on that from their cross country trip after they went from Comic Con to meet, and they met the so-called Adam Shadowchild, who was played by Jeffrey Tambor, and of course when they meet, of course when they go through the cross country and they meet a fair amount of people like Tara, who was played by Blythe Danner, who at the beginning of the movie when they show that the kid is who rescues Paul, but the government comes gets him, and then he winds up consulting on science fiction films for Spielberg I mean, he mentions, like in the flashback, which shows like how he's mentioning E.T. and then and later on Frost mentions Mac and Me, which was just an E.T. ripoff of McDonald's product placement. And of course you got Kristen Wiig, and one of her, I'd say her best performance so far of as Ruth Buggs, and then excellent performance of John Carroll Lynch as her father. I mean, when they just go in cross country, where it's got like Bateman and Hader, and can't remember the other guy right now. No disrespect, brain farting on that guy. I know, as the government agents in there, and you'd think at the beginning of the movie that Bateman's character, Agent Zoil, is the hard nosed, thinks the only good alien's a dead alien type, and that Hader and the other guy were the nerdy ones that were supposed to be with Paul. But talk about a twist, and then even funny lines like, and it's like when you get Sigourney Weaver showing her face, and then that encounter, and then woo, and then Blythe Danner goes, "Get away from him, you bitch," and woo, and talk about some badass fun, epic fun, scenes when Paul's ship finally lands, and then right on top of her, and then woo, and then you kind of like at the crash, and then and then the encounter with the rednecks at the beginning, and then the midway for the movie, when it's like the ones that are played by David Koechner and Jesse Plemons, and they both ram into that truck in their truck. Yeah, so you know, there's a lot of Chevrolets in that film, alongside the Crown Vics and a Winnebago. They were they're traveling when you got like the got like got like the Bruce redneck Bruce Favre in an old '60s '66 Chevy and those two, and Koechner and Clemens in their Chevy Avalanche. Even if I'm funny, seeing when at that redneck bar, and they're playing like a Texas swing version of the Cantina song, and of course from New Hope, that is, and man, even more funny scenes was them at the gas stations, and Paul goes Reese's Pieces. Talk about E.T. rap off E.T. because, like I said, Paul is E.T. for adults, and a 5 out of 5 masterpiece. All right, everybody. I hope y'all like, subscribe, and enjoy. And overall, I mean, even more funny when it's Rogan. You gotta have, he's gonna be get some weed in there somewhere. And of course there was, because they mentioned the alien strange where it so-called made Bob Dylan disappear, and they pulled like that fake Beatles conspiracy. Oof. Which, of course, overall, Paul, a 5 out of 5. I mean, I mean, it's ET for adults, basically, and an excellent attempt at it too. All right, enjoy.